possible milestone in treating COVID-19 with a pill. The early results look promising. Pfizer cut short a clinical trial and is going to submit the data to the FDA.
Gabe Gutierrez explains how soon this pill could be given the green light for emergency use amid backlash to new vaccine rules.
Pfizer says its new antiviral pill, used with the low-dose HIV drug and taken within 3 days of COVID symptoms, reduced the risk of hospitalization or death by 89% in high-risk adults.
It would save millions and millions of lives.
Pfizer CEO says the results, which have not been peer-reviewed yet, will be submitted to the FDA for emergency use authorization, likely before Thanksgiving.
The very high efficacy comes even to us as a surprise.
Meanwhile, as COVID cases soar in Europe, Britain has become the first country to approve another antiviral pill developed by Merck. An FDA advisory panel will consider that treatment for the U.S. later this month.
Yay, you're done.
Still, public health experts stress that vaccines remain the best protection against the virus. 7-year-old Theodore just got his. What is this going to mean for you? What's it going to mean?
It means that I can just like have more sleepovers and play dates, and I can feel more better going to big giant parties.
But not everyone's celebrating after the Biden administration announced companies with 100 or more employees would have to ensure they're vaccinated by January 4th or tested weekly. At least 27 states now say they've filed or plan to join lawsuits challenging the rule.
The federal government can't just unilaterally impose medical policy under the guise of workplace regulation.
As for that COVID pill, Pfizer says it has about 50 million treatments at the ready.
Gabe Gutierrez reporting. Meanwhile, 752,000 Americans have died from COVID-19.
And when you think about it, millions more are still dealing with the grief. In an interview with NPR, a CDC epidemiologist estimated that as of last month, 175,000 children lost one or both parents to COVID. So this morning, we are highlighting the stories of the people who help kids deal with grief every day.
Our Emily Longnecker takes you to Brooks Place.
Grief is complicated, and no one has seen that more than the counselors at Brooks Place, an organization that helps kids and young adults process their grief over the death of a loved one.
The need for not only grief support, but mental health support that is grief informed has just really boomed, and we have a wait list right now for therapy services.
The organization has been helping people ages 3 to 29, along with their parent or caregiver, walk through grief since 1999. The pandemic has only increased the need, with many of the young clients dealing with the death of someone they loved because of COVID, often a parent.
It just feels like COVID all week in terms of the families that I have been meeting with for our support group programs, young parents who've died.
Last year, Brooks Place saw the number of families seeking help go down because of COVID. They were only able to offer virtual counseling and support groups from April to September, reopening their doors last October. This year, the need is on the upswing, and COVID is a big factor.
There, are unique factors to having a person die by COVID. It's hard to carry the cultural conversation around COVID, while the reality is my mom died, and I saw her die, or my dad died, and I was there with him when he died from COVID, and I watched that.
The message from counselors at Brooks Place: grief is natural and different for everyone, and COVID hasn't changed that.
The loss of loved ones during the pandemic was made even harder by funerals that were postponed or held virtually. Now a local church is helping people process their grief using a simple phrase: ask me their name. Roberts Park United Methodist Church started this campaign during the height of the pandemic. This group believes the problem of unresolved grief will be around for a while. Their hope is to get people talking and help them progress through the grieving process.
Ask me their name is trying to give permission to people to say, it's okay, I want to talk about this person. When we are reluctant to do so because we think we're going to hurt their feelings, or it may arouse in them all the hurt again, that's not always the case.
We have more details about Ask Me Your Name dealing with loss during the pandemic and Brooks Place. It is all on our website, WTHR.com.
We are learning more Americans are getting back to work. The unemployment rate dipped to 4.6% in October. That is the lowest number we've seen during the pandemic. Employers added 531,000 jobs last month. 164,000 of those were in the leisure and hospitality business, which have been hurting so bad. Manufacturing, transportation, and warehouses also hired more workers last month.